Hi there. Thought I'd go on live just to introduce myself, say hi. My name's Mark Webb. I facilitate the A-Game Masterminds groups. Um, and while I was on, I thought I'd discuss an oldie but a goodie time management system that came up in a discussion at their latest mastermind group. It was a discussion about how someone could keep reminding themselves to follow up with customers when they need new products. For instance, if there's a product that has a particular amount of lifetime and they need refilling, then when to renew. So the system that came up was a system called the Tickler system, which is a physical, well, it's an old system from the early 20th century that consisted of physical folders. You might also have heard it called a 43 folder system, which is based upon the number of folders that it has in it. It has a folder for each month, so it's 12 folders plus 31 days for the days of the month to cover all of the options. It was more recently, you might have reintroduced it through books like Getting Things Done by David Allen. But basically, the system is like I said, a physical system with suspended folders. There are 12 folders with each of the months, January through to December, and then 31 folders with identification for the particular days. What it is based upon is, say, for instance, you're in November, you've just decided that you've sold someone some product that you know needs normally replenishing in, say, 3 months. You would then put in 3 months down the line, which will be in, say, January. You would put a little reminder in that folder to remember to follow up with a particular customer. It's also useful for things like birthdays, remembering insurances, any other kinds of thing that has a particular date-based instance. Then what would happen is you would come to a month, say for instance, like we're just started the month of November, so I'd have picked up November folder, taken all the reminders that have been in that month, and then distributed them across the particular days. So for instance, anything that needed to be done on the 5th would go in a 5, anything would need to be done on the 12th would go in a 12, etc. And then when it came to that particular day of the month, I would pick up the folder with that number in. Say, for instance, it's the 5th today. I pick up the 5th, and any of the reminders in there would give me an indication of what to do. I just what I'm going to do is show you a couple of examples of how people have used it while using the Flickr tool. Let's just check. Let's go Flickr. So these are a couple of examples of the things you do. There's basically the standard folder, drop folders, even to do something simpler like a little reminder with index cards. You can use it whatever way you want. Also, I've used it where, 31 folders is quite, 43 folders is quite a lot. So you might want to do it in weeks. So you'd have 12 months plus 5 weeks to cover the potential of having 5 weeks in a month. So that would be 17 folders, a little bit easier to do. Just to show you a little bit of how you might use it in an electronic system like one of my favorites, which is Trello. Here's a Trello folder in good Blue Peter fashion that I set up earlier, which has January through to December and one all the way through to 31, much like a normal Tickler system, but in the folders in let's clear that in Trello. So for instance, we're in the beginning, we're in February, and I know that car insurance, I've got to book a hotel for a conference, and obviously I'm going to take my wife out for Valentine's. So I would then click on the folder, so click on that. I would then car insurance is a one-off, so I would only move it to let's see, it was on, say, the 5th. I'd move it to the 5th. and that would be finished. A hotel for a conference, again, that's a one-off, so I would move that to, say, for instance, I needed to book it for in the 20th for the week after, so I put it the 20th. And then Valentine's Day is a recurring one, so I would copy that into 14th. So just remember to wish my wife a happy Valentine's Day. So create a card. And then you'll notice that what we've got in the folder is car insurance in the 5th, Valentine's Day in the 14th, and I've got to book a hotel for the for later. If you notice, I use it for birthdays. It's quite useful for that. One thing that's quite important, interesting sometimes when you're talking about birthdays is, for instance, this instance, Kat's birthday. If it's on the 1st of May, it's a bit too late on the 1st of May for me to remember to send her a card. So I will put something in April's to remind me to send her a card. I've also set up a similar system, which essentially has got January through to with week 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Same sort of system. It's quite a reasonably simple system to implement. Like I said, if you're a physical person, folders is a perfect thing to use. Really easy to do. For instance, if you've got receipts for people's stuff, you might want to put your receipts in the folders to remind you to renew an insurance, to anything that's time sensitive. For those people who use bullet journals, you might recognize a sort of modification of this in terms of the thing called the future log and the monthly migration that happens, just very similar. So it's just sort of a cool little tool for you people sort of to potentially use. I'd be interested to know for anybody who reads this, comes along, comment to identify any productivity tools you use. Anything that you find really useful that helps you keep yourself on track. Maybe time management would be interesting. If you'd like to experience the power of being in a mastermind group, in the description below there is a link to the latest taster session that's happening in Fleet on November the 12th. So click on there to come along and experience being part of a mastermind brainstorming session. So thank you for listening. I hope to do a few more of these, and hopefully we'll talk more later. So thank you, and speak to you soon.